I met Donna at a party hosted by my best friend's company. I say best friend, but we are closer than that. I've known Helen since high school. We got back in touch after I finished my last job. We never dated because Helen is gay. Like really gay. She wears collared shirts and ties. You get the idea. I introduced her to her wife, Frances. They had been married for 3 years and wanted kids. They asked me if I could help by donating sperm with no strings attached. I'm proud to say I'm the godfather of their 2 girls. They are like big sisters to my kids. The party was at Christmas. I stood at the open bar with some guys when she came over. She was amazing. I'd been around women before, but she took my breath away. She was just 4 inches shorter than my 5 feet 8 and 4 years younger than me at 29. She had long blonde hair and the deepest blue eyes I had ever seen. She looked tiny, maybe 120 pounds, and had a smile that made me fall right away. She leaned toward the bartender and ordered a Jack Daniels and Coke. My heart sank, thinking she must have a boyfriend or husband. She took a sip, turned, smiled at me, then walked away. About 20 minutes later, I saw her dance with a man. After their dance, they walked to a table, holding hands. She caught me looking at her and smiled. Usually, I don't try to get close to women who seem to be with someone else. But her, I just had to. When her date went to the bathroom, I walked over and asked her to dance. I have a limp from an old injury at my last job. It's not too bad, but noticeable. At first, she seemed unsure, but I kept the conversation light and fun. We danced several times. I learned her date was a coworker who had been asking her out for a while. Before we finished, I invited her to dinner the next Saturday. We went out and ended up married within 6 months. When we married, Donna worked as a receptionist at a marketing firm. Now she's the personal assistant to the chief marketing officer. I wasn't happy about her promotion, because it means she has to travel sometimes. Not often. Maybe once a month for a couple of days, never on weekends, maybe a week every few months. Her old boss retired and was replaced by a new guy from the New York office. I don't like him at all. Jerome Leroy Jenkins, former football player. He talks like he should be famous, but he only played a few games over 6 years. Most of the time, he was on practice squads. But one of the teams he was on won the Super Bowl, so he got a ring. He's still strong at 45, tall, 6 feet 6, and spends a lot of time in the gym. I hate to admit it, but he's good looking. The rumors say he's popular with women. Every time I've seen him, he's with a pretty woman. Never the same one twice. Always white. He's black, which didn't matter to me until it did. I didn't mind her travel when her old boss, Herb Tarlack, was in charge. Herb was in his late 50s when Donna started as his assistant. He wore terrible jackets and had a bad sense of humor. Still, he was a kind man and truly faithful to his wife. When he retired, the party was one of the best I had ever seen. Almost the whole company was there, along with customers and even competitors. He was respected. Jerome Leroy Jenkins is different. He is arrogant and looks down on everyone, especially men. He acts like he's better than everyone else. But the truth is, he barely finished college at Bethune-Cookman, and his football career was nothing special. If it weren't for his big size and supposed charm, no one would really notice him. From what I hear, not many people at work like him. For the first few months, Donna kept complaining about him. She said things about him every day. I thought I might have to talk to him face to face. Then almost suddenly, the complaints stopped. After about a month, she started working late. That never happened when Herb was around. She said Jerome Leroy Jenkins worked longer hours than Herb, so she and others stayed late sometimes too. I believed her at first, but then the trips she took went from once a month to twice a month. I asked her about it. She told me again it was because Jerome worked harder and had more business, so they needed to help more customers. I trusted Donna. She never gave me a reason not to trust her. Our social life was still good. Our personal time had not changed. Until it did. We used to be close several times a week. Over 2 months, it slowed down to once a week, then stopped completely. She said she was tired or had a headache. I noticed she said she had her period twice in 1 month, but she didn't dress like she was dealing with that. I considered myself smart. I began to feel something was wrong. Even though we live far from Denmark, I felt something was off. Because of my doubts, I did things I never thought I would. I checked her phone, but she had changed the password. We used to share them in case of emergencies. That made me worried. I couldn't get into her personal email, and she didn't bring work home on a company laptop. I even checked some other things when I could. But I didn't find clear proof that she was being unfaithful. Finally, I asked her about why things had changed between us. She quickly said sorry and told me work was stressful. She promised she would try harder. Things got better for a little while, but then went back to the new normal. One day I came home, and she told me she would be gone on a work trip for 4 days instead of 2. We argued about it. I said it was unfair for the kids and me. Why would she be gone so long? She said she had to do her job, and I needed to accept it. The house was cold before, but now it felt even colder. Even the kids could see something was wrong between their mother and me. That brings us back to the start. "Where are the children, Donna?" I asked, taking off my jacket and putting it on the chair. I reached into the fridge and grabbed a beer. "They're at my sister's for the night," she said, swirling her wine in the glass. I looked across the table at her. She had insisted on this big table that seats 8, though there are only 5 of us. We rarely have guests, except family for holidays. "On a school night? This must be important," I said, tilting my head. "It is," she said. "I want you to know I have someone else." She waited to see how I would react. I said nothing. She looked frustrated, as if she expected me to get angry. "It's Jerome Leroy Jenkins. We are close now, but it's not love. I still love you. It's just a thing between us. It won't last long." She looked at me again, waiting for a response. I stayed silent. She seemed upset that I didn't react the way she thought I would. "I don't know how long this will last. Maybe until I get tired, or he does. But don't worry. Nothing will change between us. We'll still be the same family," she said. "We'll be very careful, and won't make you feel uncomfortable." I took a big sip of the beer. It had a deep, rich amber color with a slight citrus taste. I got it from one of the small local breweries in town. "How long?" I asked. My first words after what she just told me. "Almost 5 months," she said, without showing any shame. Now I understood why things between us had been so bad lately. I just nodded. "So, I guess those long trips and late nights were because you were seeing someone else?" "Yes," she answered openly. "If you have to be so blunt," I said. "You only did it out of town. A couple of times at the office after everyone left. But I'm tired of keeping this from you. I'll be spending more time with him. Some weekend nights, and sometimes during the week." So things are going to change. While you're away, it will just be the kids and me at home. Do you expect me to just sit here doing nothing while you're with him? So now you won't just be neglecting your family. You'll be a part-time parent. I'm sure your family will be proud. I said it calmly. She looked upset when I used that word. "This won't last forever. Like I said, we can still be close. That's why the kids are at my mother's. I want to show you how much I care," she said softly. "No, I don't want anything less than respect. After this, I won't be close with you anymore," I said firmly. She looked unhappy. I stood up, grabbed my keys, and walked out. I drove to her sister's house to pick up my children. They are my whole world. Devin, who is 6 years old. He is very smart and always curious, taking things apart and trying to fix them again. The twins, Kathy and Karen, are 8. Even though they are twins, they are very different. Karen loves reading and spends most of her time in the library. Kathy likes sports and enjoys playing soccer. They are fraternal, not identical. Donna's sister was surprised to see me. "I thought Donna wanted me to take them to school tomorrow," she asked as she let me in. "Change of plans, Deborah? Do you know why Donna wanted you to watch the kids?" I asked, wondering if she knew what Donna was really up to. "No, I thought she just wanted some time to herself with you." She seemed honest. Deborah is 2 years younger than Donna. She found out her husband was unfaithful when his secretary came to her door with a baby on the way. She made sure he didn't get away with anything. Last I heard, he moved far away with his new partner. I guess Donna wouldn't share the truth with her. "Oh, okay. It was a change of plans. She got a migraine, so that messed things up. Thanks for helping." I thanked her, gathered the kids, and headed home. Deborah and I have always gotten along. Since she's single, I often helped with repairs and yard work at her place. With the kids home and ready for bed, we didn't talk about Donna's new lifestyle. We don't have an extra bedroom, so I had to sleep in the same room as Donna. She came to bed wearing what used to be my favorite nightgown. "You should have saved that for your new friend," I said, and turned away. The morning sun doesn't warm the kitchen. I stand by the stove cooking bacon in a heavy pan. The grease pops and stings my hand, but I don't move away. I keep cooking. The kids are eating cereal at the kitchen island. Devin is taking apart a plastic toy from the cereal box. Kathy is tapping her soccer cleats against a wooden stool, and Karen is reading a book. Heavy footsteps come down the hall. Donna walks in. She's wearing a neat gray skirt and a cream-colored blouse made of smooth fabric. Her hair is perfectly straight and her makeup looks flawless. She doesn't have any tired lines under her eyes. She looks like a woman who just closed a big business deal, not someone who tore her family apart less than a day ago. She pours herself a cup of coffee and leans against the counter, crossing her legs as she watches me. "You're acting like a childish fool, Julian," Donna says, her voice sharp and loud. She doesn't seem to care that the kids are just down the hall. "Turned your back on me last night? Seriously? I offered you a way to make things work. I even offered myself. You're acting like the victim when you should be thanking me for being honest." "Kids, go to your rooms and get your backpacks," I say calmly. They jump off the stools and disappear down the hallway. I lay some bacon on a paper towel but don't look at her. "Are you even listening?" Donna snaps, slamming her coffee cup on the counter. Some coffee spills out. "I work as a personal assistant for a top marketing officer. I manage big accounts worth millions. Jerome used to be a real athlete. He knows what it takes to win. He has energy and drive. And what do? You sit in the garage playing with toys while I pay for this life. I told you I wanted an arrangement. I said I would still be with you. And you act like a child." I crack eggs into the pan. They sizzle loudly. "I have needs, Julian," Donna says, stepping closer. "Jerome takes care of those. He doesn't come home smelling like the garage. He takes me out to nice restaurants. We spend time in fancy places. I'm letting you keep this family together while I get what I want on the side. You will accept this. If not, I'll just bring him here. If you won't talk to me, he can come to this house. He can sleep in our bed. You can sleep somewhere else. Let's see how the kids like that." I turn off the burner and wipe my hands on a towel. Then I face her. "You're fooling yourself," I say quietly. "You think you control everything because you let that proud, failed player near you. You think your job title makes you untouchable. You're just someone pretending to be important in a world you don't know." Donna's mouth falls open. Her face turns bright red. "Excuse me? You—" "Shut up and listen," I say, stepping closer. "You walked away from this marriage 5 months ago. You chose your job and fancy life over your family. I'm not part of your silly games. I won't share my wife, and I won't let that man come into this house." I walk to the pantry, open the door, and pull out the big black suitcase I packed early this morning. I slide it across the kitchen floor. It stops right by her expensive shoes. "The door is open," I say. "Your clothes are in the bag. Your things are inside the front pocket. You need to leave this house now. If not, I'll have to make you leave myself, and everyone will see." Donna looks at the suitcase. My calm voice breaks through her confident mask. She looks into my eyes and sees no love, no sadness, no hesitation. "You're kicking me out?" she whispers, panic breaking her usual pride. "You'll regret this. You're a loser playing make-believe. You're nothing without me." She grabs the suitcase handle and storms out, slamming the door so hard the windows shake. I don't react. I walk over to the counter and see the thing she left behind in her angry rush. Her silverwork laptop. The thought of opening it, reading her emails, seeing the messages between her and Jerome crosses my mind. But I don't touch it. Instead, I grab a rag and clean up the coffee she spilled. The garage is my safe place. On my workbench in the middle is the result of 3 years of hard work, the labyrinth core. It's a perfect cube, 6 inches on each side, made from dark walnut and shiny brass. It has more than 400 moving parts. It's a puzzle box that's very tricky. If you force it, it will lock forever. You need 52 exact moves to open it, most of them not what you expect. It's my best work. I'm putting oil on a small spring in the center when the garage door opens slowly. Devin comes in, holding a broken plastic robot. "Daddy, I broke his arm," he says. "Bring it here, buddy," I reply. Devin climbs up onto the tall stool by my table. I take the robot and reach for the glue. My elbow hits a small brass gear on the edge of the mat. It rolls off and falls to the concrete floor with a clear sound. "I got it," Devin says. He jumps down, picks up the gear, and gives it to me. I hold it up to the magnifying lamp. Then I stop. The fall had chipped a tiny piece from one tooth of the gear. It was a small, almost invisible flaw. "Daddy, is it broken?" Devin asks. "Listen to me, Devin," I say, turning the gear under the light. "When people work with machines, they want everything perfect. They think the machine will only work if every part fits just right. But sometimes, a small mistake can make it even better. If I put this broken gear in the puzzle, it will change how the lock works. Someone trying to solve it will try to move the gear forward, like the puzzle tells them. But because of the missing part, moving it forward will make the entire puzzle reset. So, How do you open it? Devin asks. You have to do the opposite of what you expect, I smile. You have to push it backward. You didn't break it, buddy. You made it smart. You made it ours. I hug my son. I take the chipped gear and carefully put it in the exact center of the labyrinth core. I close the last walnut panel. I put the finished puzzle in my desk drawer and lock it. I don't hear the front door open. I don't hear Donna quietly coming to get her laptop.
The marketing firm's boardroom feels cold and heavy. I stand in the corner holding my tablet tightly. Jerome walks back and forth at the head of the long glass table. He looks powerful in his sharp suit, but he's sweating a lot. Eliza, the PR director, sits with her arms crossed in a leather chair. She's wearing a red dress and a hard look. The numbers are really bad, Jerome, Eliza says. She slams a folder full of papers onto the table. We have only 45 days before everything runs out. You spent our last money on those big parties in Miami. You rented private planes to impress clients who then went to agencies in New York. The board wants a new product by the third quarter. We don't have anything. You don't have anything. Watch your words, Eliza, Jerome snaps, pointing at her. I built this company. I won a Super Bowl. I know how to handle pressure. We just need something to go viral online. We need a product that people will love. You built nothing, Eliza stands up, angry. You took over a working agency from Herb Tarlac, but used up all its money to feed your pride. You have nothing left. If you don't find a great new product in the next 72 hours, I'm quitting, and I will make sure everyone in this business knows who ruined this company. Eliza storms out of the meeting room. Jerome kicks a chair, making it crash against the wall. He looks at me. His eyes are red and full of worry. He walks over and corners me, standing very close. It isn't a kind or loving move. It feels threatening. Did you hear her, Donna? Jerome whispers. He grabs my face firmly. We're sinking. I need a product that will catch on fast. Something real. Something special. You want to be my partner? You want the penthouse? The fancy dinners? Then show me you're more than just a receptionist. I'm keeping around for fun. Bring me a product. Bring me $1 million idea by tomorrow. Or you can go back to your sad, quiet life with your husband. I will drop you without a second thought. He lets go and walks out. I stand still. Panic fills me. I can't lose Jerome. I can't go back to Julian and that slow, lonely life. I need an idea. My thoughts go to the garage, to the strange, beautiful wooden cube sitting on Julian's workbench. Julian is just a freelancer. He doesn't know the business world. He would never expect this. At noon, I drive to the house. I know Julian's schedule. He takes the twins to soccer practice every Tuesday afternoon. I park 2 blocks away and quietly walk to the house. I slip through the side gate and head for the garage. The side door is locked. I take the spare key hidden under a rusty flower pot, unlock the door, and go inside. I walk straight to Julian's heavy metal desk. The bottom drawer is locked. I look around the workbench and grab a flathead screwdriver. I wedge it into the small space above the lock. I use all my strength to pry it open. The latch breaks with a loud snap. I pull the drawer open. There it is, the labyrinth core. It's heavier than it looks. It feels like a fortune in my hand. I take a plain block of walnut from the scrap pile, drop it into the drawer, and shut it with my foot. As I turn to leave, I step on a small pile of dark grey powder spilled on the rubber mat beneath my shoe. I don't care. I hide the puzzle in my big purse and rush back to my car. 2 hours later, I walk into Jerome's office. I put the labyrinth core on his desk. "What is this?" Jerome asks. "It's our chance," I say. I lean forward and rest my hands on the desk. It's a puzzle box that can't be solved easily. I designed it. I paid a student to build the first model quietly. I own it fully. It looks amazing and people will love trying to solve it on social media. We can make this cheaply in China and sell it as a fancy brain teaser. Jerome picks it up. He turns it in his big hands. A small click. A panel moves. His eyes light up with excitement. "You made this?" he asks, looking at me. "Yes," I say. "I call it the Donner Cube. It'll make us rich."
I walk into the garage, wiping sweat from my forehead. The twins are inside, drinking juice boxes. I sit at my workbench to finish some notes. When I reach down to open the bottom drawer of my desk, I see the metal is bent. The lock is broken. I open it with force. The labyrinth core is gone. In the drawer is a torn piece of scrap walnut. My hands start to shake. The anger hits me hard and fast. 3 years of work, my best creation, taken away. I stood up and kicked my stool backward. It fell to the floor with a loud crash. I was halfway to the door, ready to drive to Donna's hotel and confront her. Then I stopped. I looked down at the rubber floor mat. Right next to my spilled container of graphite powder was a clear, perfect, high-heeled footprint. Size 6, a thin stiletto heel. It was Donna's. She didn't just betray me. She came into my private space and took away my future. "You foolish woman," I whispered to the empty garage. The fire inside me quickly turned cold and hard. My breathing slowed. I stared at the footprint. I looked at the broken lock. Suddenly, I understood. She took the prototype for Jerome. She took it for the marketing firm. They planned to sell it as their own to save their failing business. I walked over to the filing cabinet in the corner of the garage. I unlocked a secret hidden drawer and pulled out a thick folder. Inside were the extra blueprints, the math proofs, and photos with timestamps from every step of the project over the past 3 years. I picked up my phone and called a number I hadn't used in a long time.
"Julian,"
"Arthur," I said when he answered. "Julian," came the sharp, clear voice of my intellectual property lawyer. "I haven't heard from you since that old case. Hope you bring good news." "My wife is cheating on me," I said without emotion. "And she broke into my office and took the only working prototype of the labyrinth core to give to her boss's marketing firm. They want to pass it off as their own." There was silence on the line for a moment. Then a low, quiet laugh came through. "Julian, tell me you still have the backup proofs." "I have everything," I said, staring at the heel print on the floor. The blueprints, the timestamps, and even a video of my son putting the core together. "I want to stop them. How do we make sure they lose everything?" "Bring the files to my office," Arthur said. "We'll make sure they can't come back from this." Arthur's office was on the 40th floor of a tall building downtown. He sat behind a big wooden desk, wearing a neat suit. He looked over my blueprints and watched the video on his screen. In the video, a 6-year-old Devin was smiling while I helped him smooth the wood panels of the puzzle. The video was from 3 months ago. "This is solid," Arthur said, tossing the papers onto the desk. "You have the proof in the timeline, the design, and your son building it on camera. If they try to claim it, no judge will believe them." "They plan to make thousands," I said, sitting tensely. "Jerome's marketing firm is failing. He'll use this to get a loan and produce hundreds of thousands of units." Arthur leaned forward, folding his hands. His eyes looked sharp and sure. "Good. Let them." I looked at him, confused. "Explain." "If we warn them now," Arthur said smoothly, "they'll just change their story. Say they bought the prototype from a dishonest worker, give it back and walk away. Jerome keeps his business, your wife keeps her job, and they get a small punishment. We don't want that. We want them gone." Arthur slid a blank paper across the desk. "We'll file a silent provisional patent," he said. "It registers your idea with the government today. But here's the clever part. Provisional patents don't show up in normal company checks for several months. They stay completely hidden from the public. So, when Jerome's lawyers search for patents before starting production, I begin. They won't find anything," Arthur says with a smile. "They will think the design is not protected at all. They will get big loans from the banks. They will pay for all the things needed, tools, materials, shipping, and advertising. They will spend their own money to build everything, but as soon as they start selling these items, they will be breaking the law on a large scale." "What will happen when they make so many of them?" I ask. "We let them pay for making the products," Arthur explains. "Then we take legal action. We take every single item off store shelves. We freeze all the bank accounts linked to Jerome's company. Since Jerome rushed the launch and skipped normal research steps, We can make him and Donna responsible personally. We will make Jerome lose everything, and Donna will have a debt so big she will be struggling for the rest of her life. I stand up and button my jacket. Start the process, I say.
I stand at the head of the research table. Jerome sits proudly beside me. Across from us are 3 of Jerome's top engineers. In the middle of the table sits the prize I took. The inside design is interesting, Donna, the lead engineer says, pushing his glasses up his nose, but we are having trouble copying the locking part. The gears use an unusual ratio. Can you explain the math behind the main tension spring? My heart sinks. I have no idea what he means. I smile, putting on my strongest confident look. I'm not here to explain tiny details, gentlemen, I say, sounding sure of myself. The design works as a whole. It's made to be fun and engaging for users. The gear ratio is meant to make the puzzle feel just right when someone tries to solve it. We need to focus on making many copies and selling them, not on the math details. Don't change the gear ratio. Just make the molds the same as the prototype. The engineers look at each other confused. Are you sure? One asks. Because the 7th tooth on the main brass gear looks chipped. If we make copies with that flaw, the locking part won't work as expected. I said make it exactly like it is, I say sharply. That flaw is the point. It makes the puzzle impossible. Do your jobs and get it ready to make. Jerome bangs his hand on the table. You heard her, he says loudly. We aren't changing a thing. We are copying it exactly. We have a launch in 6 weeks, and I want 500,000 units ready to ship by the end of the month. Eliza leans in the doorway watching me. Her eyes are sharp. She knows I'm faking. She knows I couldn't create such a puzzle. But she doesn't say a word. Jerome stands and puts his strong arm around my waist, pulling me close in front of everyone. I just talked to the bank, he announces. They loved the prototype. We got a $50 million loan using the company's assets. We're going into full production. The Donna Cube will save this company and it will make my girl here famous. I smile. I feel powerful. I have Jerome. I have $50 million behind me. It's time to cut the last ties to my sad past. It's time to get rid of Julian.
The doorbell rings. I open the door. Donna is standing there with a thick manila envelope in her hand. She looks at my old jeans, my faded t-shirt, and the small limp I have, then her face turns to pure disgust. Can I come in? She asks. Talk from the porch, I reply, stepping aside to block the doorway. She rolls her eyes. Fine. Be childish. She shoves the envelope into my chest. These are the divorce papers. My lawyer made them this morning. I'm moving on with my life, Julian. I'm about to launch a big product with Jerome. I'll be a millionaire. I'm not letting you slow me down anymore. I open the envelope and quickly scan the first page. You want the house? I say in a low voice. 60% of my 401k, and you want the kids most of the time, leaving me with every other weekend. I have an image to keep up now, Donna says, folding her arms. I'm a successful businesswoman. Successful women have their kids for show. I'll hire a nanny when I work and travel with Jerome. You can keep the cars and your tools in the garage. Sign the papers, Julian. Don't fight me. My lawyers will destroy you in court. I look at the woman I married, the mother of my kids. There's no kindness left in her eyes, only greed and pride. I won't fight you, Donna, I say quietly. Her confident smile slips for a moment. Excuse me? I step outside onto the porch, closing the door so the kids inside can't hear. I look her straight in the eye and give my response. You want to be a millionaire business star? I say, my voice low but sharp. Fine. Take it all. I will give you all the shares in the house, all of my 401k savings, everything. No alimony, every financial asset from our marriage. Yours to keep. Donna's jaw drops. Her eyes glow with greed. You're giving me everything? She says. One condition, I say. You must sign over full, uncontested custody of Devin, Kathy, and Karen to me. Give up all your parental rights. You get the money and leave my children out of your life. Sign the kids over to me, and you start fresh with your new boyfriend. But if you refuse, I will fight for custody in a way that will leave your new business in ruins." Donna stares coldly. A normal mother might be furious or shout that children matter more than money, but she just thinks it over like a deal. "You're a fool, Julian," she laughs, a harsh and empty sound. "Giving up all that money to be a single dad? Fine. Take them. They'd just slow me down on tours anyway. Call the mediator. I'll sign whatever you want." She turns and walks back to her car, thinking she won. She doesn't see she just cut herself off from the one safe place left. The mediation room is plain. A long wooden table sits in the middle. I sit on one side. Arthur, my lawyer, is next to me, his face unreadable. On the other side is Donna, looking at her phone and checking her makeup, not paying attention to her own lawyer. Her lawyer, an older man with tired eyes, slides over the new contract. "Ms. Carter," he says, clearing his throat, "I must make it clear for the record. By signing this addendum, you give up all legal and physical custody of your 3 children. You are choosing to end your parental rights in exchange for the financial assets from the marriage. If you sign this, you won't be able to change your mind later or ask for visits. You will be giving up your kids for good." Donna doesn't even look up from her phone. She's texting fast. "I heard you, David," Donna snaps. "Julian fits their plain, quiet life better anyway. I'm about to start selling a product worldwide. I don't have time for school lunches or soccer games. Just give me the pen." Donna. Her lawyer tries one last time. "Please think carefully." Donna's phone buzzes. She looks at the screen. A message from Jerome. "The billboard is up. Launch tomorrow. Get the papers signed." Donna grabs the heavy silver pen. "I'm thinking about my future," she says with a cold smile. She signs her name on the custody papers. Then she turns the page and signs the papers to give up her property share. She adds her initials on the last page to say she agrees with everything. She hands all the papers to the mediator. The mediator stamps them loudly, making it final. "The agreement is official and recorded," the mediator says. The ink is barely dry before I push my chair back and stand up. I open my briefcase and take out the 3 blue U.S. passports of my children. I place them safely inside my jacket pocket. They are mine now, both legally and for good. "Nice doing business with you, Julian," Donna mocks. She stands up and straightens her skirt. "Enjoy your quiet family life. Don't cry too much when you see me on TV making millions." I don't answer. I button my jacket, turn away, and walk out with Arthur behind me. We leave the courthouse and step onto the busy city sidewalk. Arthur points up. On the side of a tall building is a huge billboard. It shows a bright, clear photo of my work, the walnut and brass puzzle box, shining under studio lights. Huge white letters read, "The Enigma Cube, the Unsolvable Masterpiece, a design by Donna Carter." "They spent $2 million on ads alone," Arthur says, checking his watch. "The product will go live online at midnight." I look carefully at the billboard. I notice a small broken spot on the brass gear, blown up huge. No one has seen it. Not even those who took it. "Arthur," I say quietly. "Yes, Julian?" "Prepare the court order," I tell him, still staring at the giant billboard showing my stolen work. "The stage is set. Tomorrow we make our move." Arthur adjusts his jacket. "The papers are ready, Julian. We just wait for the right time to act. Let them get too confident." 3 months later, everything builds up. I sit in my living room, not noticing the walls or furniture. My eyes are on the big TV and the 3 children playing on the floor in front of me. Devin stacks plastic blocks. Kathy tosses a soccer ball. Karen reads a book. On the TV, Donna sits on a national morning show. She wears a bright red dress and her blonde hair is perfect. She looks like the rich, proud businesswoman she always wanted to be. The host holds the Enigma Cube, turning the puzzle carefully with wide eyes. "Donna Carter, you are truly making waves online," the host says, looking at the camera. 3 million pieces sold worldwide in just 4 months. Everyone is trying to solve this puzzle. People are calling it the Rubik's Cube of this century. I ask, how does someone who works in marketing create something so amazing in mechanical engineering? Donna smiles. It is the same kind of smile she used to give when I asked about her late nights at work. "It's all about teamwork and never giving up, Sarah," Donna says calmly, without a pause. "I wanted to build something real. I saw a big gap in the market. I stayed up many nights drawing the inside parts of this puzzle. I put my heart into those gears. It was a true labor of love. And honestly, it shows that women leaders can succeed in engineering when we stop listening to men who doubt us." I take a slow sip of my black coffee. I don't throw the cup. I don't shout. I just watch as someone shows what I feel is my heart on live TV. "Mommy's on TV again," Kathy says, looking up for a moment, then goes back to her soccer ball. "She looks fake." Karen says quietly, flipping a page in her book. Her teeth are too white. She talks like a robot. I set my coffee down. I lean forward and rest my elbows on my knees. Kids, stop what you're doing and look at me, I say quietly but firmly. They drop their toys and watch me with full trust. Your mother is very famous right now, I say clearly. She is making a lot of money. She is on TV. Her name is on billboards all over the city, and many people think she is a genius. But I want you to know something important about how the world really works, because school doesn't teach this. What is it, Daddy? Devin asks, wiping his nose with his sleeve. Sometimes bad people get what they want, I say, looking at each child's eyes. People who lie, cheat, or steal can be given big rewards. They get big houses, nice clothes, and many people cheer for them on TV. When you see this, your first feeling might be strong anger. You might want to run up to them, stop them, and say it isn't fair. You might want to show everyone that they are not honest the first time they lie. I point at the TV screen. Donna is smiling at a joke the host just made. But you don't interrupt someone while they are still building something shaky, I tell the kids in a low, serious voice. If you stop them when they're still down, they will just get up again. You have to let them build. Let them make the tallest, heaviest, most expensive thing they can. Let them borrow money. Let them invite their rich friends inside. Let them feel like they own everything. And then what happens? Karen asks. And then, I say softly, you find the one small thing that keeps their whole fake world standing. You pull on that, and you let gravity do the rest. You don't have to shout or fight. Their own weight will bring everything down. The screen turns to a fast, bright commercial break. The host's voice is loud over a spinning picture of my puzzle. Tonight, at 8 Eastern, the moment the internet has been waiting for, YouTube star The Puzzle Master with 10 million fans is going live. He has solved 49 of 50 steps of the Enigma Cube and will break the last code live on stream. Will he be the first person to solve Donna Carter's greatest creation? I smile and look down at my son. Devin, buddy, I say, can you go to the kitchen and make a big bowl of popcorn? We have a very important show to watch tonight.
The fancy penthouse is full of the richest people in Raleigh. I stand in the middle of the room wearing a black silk dress with an open back. A diamond necklace rests on my neck. Jerome is at the open bar dressed in a costly tuxedo. He is laughing loudly and leading the conversation, surrounded by investors who seem eager to give him their money. The Enigma Cube has saved the company. We paid off a huge $50 million loan in just 3 months. Everything we make now is pure profit. I feel like a queen. I take a sip of champagne. Suddenly, I feel a strong grip on my elbow. Someone is holding on tight. I turn around. It is Eliza. She is wearing a sharp, dark green pantsuit. Her hair is pulled back tightly. Her eyes show no sign of the happy mood in the room. Walk with me, Donna, Eliza says. It is not a question. She pulls me away from the party and down a hallway. She pushes me into an empty office, closes the door and locks it. What is your problem, Eliza? I say, rubbing my arm where she held me. We are about to have 10 million people watching our product on a global live stream, and you drag me into a room like this? Do you know how important I am right now? Eliza crosses her arms and looks at me with pure dislike. You are very stupid and proud, Donna, she says quietly but coldly. You think you did all this yourself. You think you fooled the whole business world. You even believe your own press stories. I don't know what you mean, I say, lifting my chin. I created the best-selling toy of the decade. I saved this company while you sat writing boring press releases. Now you work for me. You did not design anything, you fool, Eliza says, stepping closer. I spent 3 weeks looking through the factory files in Shenzhen. I checked the designs and the way the main gear works. It uses a special gear system that needs a very high level of math to understand. It is real engineering. Eliza stops just inches from my face. I looked at your college records, Donna. You failed simple math twice. You barely earned a communications degree from a low-level school. You don't know the difference between basic parts in machines. You couldn't build a simple doorstop. You stole this idea from someone smart and showed it off to impress a former football player. My heart sinks. I feel my face go pale. I try to stay calm. I try to keep my professional cover. You have no proof, Eliza, I say, trying to keep my voice steady. You're just a jealous old PR worker who can't accept that Jerome chose me instead of you. You have nothing on me. Eliza doesn't even blink. She laughs, but it sounds dry and strange. I don't need proof to ruin you, Donna, she says with a harsh tone. I just need to plant a seed of doubt. I could go back to that party room right now. I could take the microphone. I will tell every investor in that room that you stole the design. I will tell them you are a fraud. I will ask Jerome to have you draw the gear plans on a whiteboard in front of the whole board. Can you do it, Donna? Can you show the math? Because if you can't, the investors will take their money back tonight, the stock will drop to zero, and Jerome will get rid of you to save himself. I look at her. My chest feels tight. She has me trapped and she knows it. What do you want? I whisper. Eliza smiles. It is a cold smile, full of danger. I want 30%, Eliza says clearly. I want 30% of your total earnings from the Enigma Cube sent straight to an offshore company I control, paid every month, no taxes, no paper trail. If you miss one payment or are even 1 day late, I will go to the press, I will tell Jerome, and I will expose you as a thief. 30%? I gasp. That's millions of dollars. You're blackmailing me. You are a criminal. I am charging you for your big mistake, Eliza corrects me, stepping back and fixing her green jacket. You wanted to play with the big players, Donna. This is the price you pay. You are a fraud, and frauds have to give protection money to those clever enough to catch them. Do we have a deal? Or should I leave now and make your life much worse? I look at the locked door. I look into Eliza's cold eyes. I am stuck. Fine, I say, my voice barely there. You get your 30%. Good, Eliza sneers. She reaches out and lightly pats my cheek like a teacher talking down to a student. Now wipe that scared look off your face and go out there. Smile for the cameras. Your big live show is about to start.
Devin is sitting right beside me on the couch, eating a big bowl of buttered popcorn. Kathy and Karen are on the floor, eyes fixed on the screen. On TV is The Puzzle Master. He is a young man in his 20s, sitting in a room lit by neon lights, wearing a cap turned backwards. At the top right corner of the screen, a live viewer count shows 10.4 million people watching. It is one of the biggest live events in internet history. In front of the young man is the labyrinth core. Okay, everyone, we are at the very last step, the YouTuber shouts into his microphone, his voice shaking with excitement. I have worked non-stop for 80 hours. We have unlocked 49 of the 50 parts. The wooden panels are pulled back. We can see the brass center. If I can just get this last gear to move, the Enigma Cube will open. The whole world is watching. He zooms the camera close to the puzzle. I can see the gears clearly. The camera picks up a tiny chip on one of the gears. Now, based on all the rules, the YouTuber says, wiping sweat from his forehead, speaking quickly to his viewers. This gear needs to turn forward to line up the pins. Every other gear has moved that way. I just need to use the right amount of pressure. Here goes. Wish me luck, chat. He puts his thumbs on the brass gear. He pushes forward. The gear moves with a grinding sound. Then there is a loud snap. The whole puzzle suddenly clicks, and 3 of the wooden panels slam shut, resetting the whole thing. No! 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 The YouTuber yells, throwing his hands up and falling back in his chair. It slipped! It reset the panels! Seriously? I pushed it forward! The math says it has to go forward! Why did it slip? This can't be real. The chat box on the side of the screen moves so fast, it looks like a white blur. Millions of people are going crazy. Devin grabs some popcorn and looks at me. He did it wrong, Daddy, Devin says with his mouth full. I know, buddy, I say, putting my arm around him. Tell me exactly what he did wrong. He tried to be perfect, Devin says, pointing at the TV with a buttery finger. He didn't look at the broken part. When I dropped it in the garage, I broke a tooth, so you can't push it forward because that broken tooth makes it slip off the track. That's right, I whisper, leaning closer. What did you do to the brass gear to make it open when we built it, Devin? Devin smiles wide, showing his gap in his teeth. I pushed it backward, Daddy. On the screen, the YouTuber takes deep breaths, trying to calm down. For the next 10 minutes, he repeats the steps quickly, putting the wooden panels back in place smoothly. He reaches the final brass core and looks tired and upset. Guys, I really don't know what to do, he says to his huge audience, leaning into the microphone. I pushed this gear forward many times off camera. It slips every time. It doesn't make sense. But, wait a second. He leans close to the puzzle. Chad, look here. I'm zooming in. The screen zooms in so close that the chipped brass tooth fills the whole TV. There's a tiny flaw on the gear, the YouTuber whispers, eyes wide. It's missing a tiny bit of metal on the 7th tooth. The forward push makes it slip because it can't grip. What if the puzzle maker is tricky? What if it's meant to fool people who use normal logic? I take a deep breath. My heart beats slowly but strongly in my chest. Do it, I whisper to the screen. Push it backward.
200 people watch the big projector screen that covers the penthouse windows. Jerome stands next to me, holding my waist so tightly it hurts. Everyone is silent, holding their breath. On the screen, the YouTuber places his thumbs on the center gear. Okay, chat, he says, his voice shaking. I'm going to do the exact opposite of what makes sense. I'm going to push the gear backward, right where the floor is. He presses. He pushes backward. A loud, clear, mechanical click fills the room through the speakers. On the screen, the whole puzzle box springs to life. The brass gears spin together. The dark walnut panels slide apart like a flower opening. The box opens fully, showing a hollow cylinder at the center. The penthouse bursts into loud cheers. Jerome picks me up and spins me around, shouting with joy. Rich investors clap, pop champagne, and cheer for me. You did it, baby, Jerome shouts, kissing me quickly. You're a genius. We own everything now. I laugh with tears of relief in my eyes. I look over at Eliza by the bar, who raises her glass with a cold, mean smile. I don't care. Let her have her share. I have millions. No one can touch me now. Wait, guys, hold on. Chat, calm down. Look at this. The YouTuber shouts through the speakers. The cheers slow down. Everyone turns back to the screen. The YouTuber shined a small, bright flashlight into the open, empty space inside the puzzle box. There's something hidden in the center, he said, picking up a pair of long metal tweezers from his desk. Looks like a metal plate. Give me a second to pull it out. My heart dropped. There was nothing inside the box's center, nothing at all. I had taken the prototype right from Julian's desk. It was just a puzzle. Empty. The YouTuber held something with the tweezers. He pulled it out slowly. A heavy, thick square of solid metal slid from the wooden center. He placed it on his desk and let the camera zoom in. It's a metal plate with laser-engraved words, he said, leaning close to read. Let me hold it up so you can see it. He lifted the plate toward the camera. Deep black letters were carved into it. The YouTuber read the words aloud to his 10.5 million viewers. The Labyrinth Core. Original design and engineering by Julian Carter. Dedicated with all my love to Devin, Kathy, and Karen. United States Provisional Patent Pending, number 884992. He lowered the plate and stared at the camera, shocked. Julian Carter, he said, clearly confused. Chat. The box says the creator is Donna Carter. Who is Julian Carter? In the penthouse, silence fell like a heavy blanket. No one moved. The clinking of champagne glasses stopped. The music disappeared. Jerome slowly turned his head toward me. His dark eyes were wide and frozen, filled with shock. All color drained from his face. The glass of champagne in my hand slipped and shattered on the floor. The chat on the big projector screen raced with questions. 10 million people typed at once. Who is Julian? Did she steal it? Is this stolen? Is Donna lying? Jerome stepped slowly toward me, his hands clenched tightly. His knuckles looked white from the tension. Donna, Jerome whispered, his voice low and angry. What is that? I tried to speak, but my throat felt stuck. I couldn't catch my breath. The tungsten plate stared back at me like a warning. Julian knew. He had hidden a trap inside the prototype, and I had brought it into my own company without knowing. Jerome, I can explain, I said, stepping back. My heels crushed the broken glass on the floor. You took it? Jerome shouted. His voice shook the penthouse windows. He grabbed my shoulders and shook me hard in front of 200 important investors. You lied to me. You said you designed it. You said it was yours. We owe $50 million because of this. If that patent is real, we could be in big trouble. Jerome, stop, you're hurting me. I cried, trying to pull his hands off my shoulders. The investors backed away, looking scared. Some pulled out their phones. Eliza stepped forward, no longer smiling. Jerome, let her go, she said sharply. Her mind was working fast like a PR expert. We have to stop the live stream. We need to end this party before people see the patent details online. It's too late, one of the investors said from the back. He stared at his glowing phone screen. Twitter already found the patent. The boardroom was chaos. It had been exactly 45 minutes since the live stream ended. Jerome was pacing behind his big glass desk like an angry wild animal trapped in a cage. His tie was off. His expensive shirt was open. He was sweating a lot and drinking scotch straight from the crystal bottle. I sat in one of the leather chairs, shaking hard, holding my arms close to my body. Eliza stood at the head of the conference table, quickly scrolling through a tablet. It's a total disaster out there, Jerome, Eliza said, her voice flat and without emotion. She wasn't panicking. She was reading a report. Reddit users found the Patent Office database only 3 minutes after the plate showed up on the stream. Julian Carter filed a hidden patent 6 months ago. It became public the same day we started our online pre-sales. How is that even possible? Jerome shouted. He slammed his big fist on the glass desk, cracking it. Our lawyers ran background checks. They searched patent records worldwide. There was nothing, I said quietly. Eliza looked up at Jerome with cold dislike. Provisional patents stay hidden for the first few months, Jerome. It's a common tough move to catch company thieves, and we just walked right into it. She swiped the screen again. It gets much worse. The internet found Julian's YouTube channel. He has videos from 3 years ago, clear videos of him cutting wood, making the brass parts, and him with his kids building the exact model on that streamer's desk. The hashtag Donna the Thief is now #1 worldwide. 2 million tweets are calling for us to be arrested. Stop the sales, Jerome shouted, throwing his empty glass against the wall. Take down the website. I already tried, Eliza said flatly. Amazon, Target, and Walmart froze our accounts and removed all listings 10 minutes ago. They want to avoid any trouble for selling stolen ideas. Our money is gone, Jerome. It's all gone. Jerome stopped pacing. Slowly he turned and looked at me. The hate in his eyes was scary. He came over, grabbed the chair's armrests, and got his face close to mine. I could smell the old alcohol and fear on his breath. You set me up, Jerome said angrily. You and your useless husband. You wanted to steal my company. No, I cried, tears ruining my makeup. Jerome, I swear I didn't know. I wanted to save the company. You said you would leave me if I didn't find a product. I took it from his desk. I didn't know he filed a patent. I didn't know he put a metal plate inside it. You were so stupid and full of yourself, Jerome yelled, his face red. You told me you made it. You even told my top engineers not to change one part. You didn't know what you were stealing. We took out a $50 million loan using my company to make stolen stuff. We're bankrupt. I'm ruined because you wanted to pretend to be an inventor. We can fix this, I begged, holding his wrists, asking for help. We can call Julian. I'll talk to him. Offer him some of the money. He doesn't matter much, Jerome. He'll take $1 million and make this end. He still cares about me. He doesn't want $1 million, you fool, Jerome shouted. He pushed my chair back hard. He wants to see us fail. He hid the patent. He waited until we spent every dollar on marketing. He used us to make 500,000 units of his product for free. Now he's going to sue us badly. The boardroom doors opened. 2 of Jerome's expensive lawyers walked in. They looked serious and worried. Jerome, the lead lawyer said, holding a thick stack of papers. We just got a message from a judge in Raleigh. Julian Carter's lawyer has filed a big federal order against the company. An order, Jerome said, stepping back and wide-eyed. For what? For everything, the lawyer said, putting the papers on the cracked glass table. They want us to stop all sales worldwide, take all the products back, and freeze all the company's bank accounts because of a patent problem. They want damages over $200 million. Jerome's legs shook. He sat down hard in his leather chair and buried his face in his big hands. We fight it, he said quietly, but with worry. He looked up at the lawyers. We say we bought it honestly. We say she acted alone. We blame her completely. Write a press release now. Tell everyone Donna Carter tricked the company. I will sue her myself. I won't lose my company over this. I stood up, shocked and hurt. You can't do that, I shouted. You're my partner. You pushed me. You knew we had no documents. You knew I didn't build it. I don't know you, Jerome shouted, pointing a shaking finger at me. You are a rogue employee who lied. You take the blame, Donna. You're the one who will pay, not me. That won't work, Jerome, Eliza said calmly from the end of the table. We all looked at her. She put her tablet down and fixed her green jacket. She looked calm, like she didn't care about what was happening. What do you mean it won't work? Jerome snapped. I'm the CEO. I have a defense. She gave it to me. No, you don't, Eliza said coldly, watching him closely. You skipped every legal step. When she gave you the prototype, the company rules said to check it over 6 weeks and get liability papers. You ignored that. You told the engineers to copy it without question because you wanted to meet the deadline and save the company. You approved the $50 million loans without legal checks. You are fully responsible. Who will prove that? Jerome scoffed. For a moment, he looked like he had hope. The emails are private. It's my word against hers, and she has a bad record. Not anymore, Eliza said with a cold, confident smile. I quit this company 5 minutes ago. Before my access was stopped, I sent every email, every missed check, and every threat you made to the R&D team to Julian Carter's lawyer. I gave them all the proof. Jerome's face went blank. The lawyers stared at Eliza in shock. You leaked company secrets? Jerome yelled, standing up. I will ruin you, Eliza. I will sue you. I will end your career. You don't have money left for a meal, Jerome? Eliza laughed sharply. I got federal whistleblower protection an hour ago. You two are going to be charged with corporate fraud, stealing ideas and taking huge amounts of money, Eliza said firmly. I'm leaving with nothing on me. She grabbed her fancy purse from the table, turned quickly, and walked out of the boardroom without looking back. Jerome stood frozen, completely defeated. In less than an hour, his whole world had fallen apart. Slowly, He turned his head to look at me. There was no kindness or anger in his eyes, only a deep burning hate from someone who feels trapped and helpless. "Get out of my building," Jerome whispered quietly. "Jerome, please," I begged, tears falling down my face. "Where am I supposed to go? My accounts are tied to the company. You have to help me." "Security!" Jerome shouted into his desk phone. Within 10 seconds, 2 large security guards entered the boardroom. "Take this thief out of my building," Jerome ordered, pointing at me shakily. "And if she ever comes back, make sure she is caught for trespassing." The guards grabbed my arms. They didn't care that I was wearing an expensive silk dress. They didn't care that I had been in charge just an hour ago. They pulled me out of the boardroom, down the hall, into the elevator, and then pushed me out the glass front doors of the lobby. I fell onto the cold sidewalk. It was raining hard. I dropped to my knees, surrounded by the broken pieces of the life I had worked so hard to build for my family.
The federal courthouse was quiet in the early morning. I sat on the smooth wooden benches inside the judge's chamber. I wore a simple gray suit. Arthur stood by the plaintiff's table. He moved like a shark circling a weak fish. Jerome's 2 expensive defense lawyers sat at the other table. They looked tired, scared, and out of their depth. Jerome wasn't there. He was probably hiding from the crowd outside his company's headquarters. Donna wasn't there either. She didn't matter now. Judge Harrison, an older woman in her 60s with a serious look, flipped slowly through the large stack of papers Arthur had just given her. "Counselor," Judge Harrison said, looking over her glasses at Jerome's lawyers, "the plaintiff has shown time-stamped blueprints, an official patent filed 6 months before your client started making the product, and even a video of the prototype being built. It is clear that your client's company produced stolen ideas." "Your Honor," the lead lawyer said, standing up and buttoning his jacket. He sounded desperate. "We agree the design came from the plaintiff. Still, we strongly argue that this order should not freeze the company's accounts or make Mr. Jenkins personally responsible. Our client, the marketing firm, bought this design from Donna Carter in good faith. Also, Donna Carter was legally married to the plaintiff, Julian Carter, when the prototype was created at their shared home." The lawyer pointed toward me with his open hand. "Under North Carolina law, ideas made during marriage belong to both partners. Donna Carter owned half of the invention by law. She had every right to license her half to our firm. This is a family matter, Your Honor, not a case of corporate fraud. The order freezing accounts should be denied." The lawyer sat down, clearly feeling confident. He thought the marriage was his defense. Arthur did not react at first. Slowly, he stood and walked around the table holding a small folder. "Your Honor," Arthur said, his voice steady and clear. The defense's argument was built on a wrong idea, that Donna Carter still had rights to the couple's shared property. Arthur pointed to the judge and said, "Please look at Plaintiff's Exhibit D." He handed a paper to the bailiff, who passed it to the judge. "This document, Your Honor, is a final, legally binding post-nuptial mediation agreement. Donna Carter signed it, and it was entered into federal records 3 weeks ago," Arthur said as he slowly walked in front of the defense table, his eyes fixed on the other side's lawyer. The lawyers for Jerome looked puzzled. They straightened up in their seats. "Look at Section 4, Paragraph 2, Arthur went on, raising his voice and taking control of the room. "You will see that Donna Carter agreed to give up her physical and legal custody of her children. For that, Julian Carter gave her all of the shared physical property. But in Section 5, Donna clearly signed a waiver that gives up any claims to Julian Carter's intellectual work, his businesses, patents, and ideas. She gave up her half." I watched Jerome's lawyers carefully. Their faces lost color. They realized what I had known all along. "Donna Carter cut her legal ties to the patents weeks before the product went on sale," Arthur said firmly, pointing at the defense table. "She owned nothing. The company bought a stolen design from a third party who had no legal right. Thanks to secret emails from a company insider, we have clear proof that Jerome Jenkins ignored safety checks to rush this stolen product to market. He acted without care and with bad intentions." Arthur turned toward the judge, standing tall and serious. "This is no simple family dispute, Your Honor. This is a planned, costly theft by a corporation. We ask the court to freeze all company money right now, and we want Jerome Jenkins held responsible for all the debt." Judge Harrison looked at the agreement again. Then she looked at Jerome's lawyers, who sat frozen and speechless. They had no real defense. The trap I set was perfect. "The court finds the plaintiff's evidence very strong," Judge Harrison said as she held her heavy wooden hammer. "The federal order is fully granted. All sales of the Enigma Cube stop right now. All company accounts under Jerome Jenkins and his firm are frozen immediately. All physical products are taken and kept safe until the trial." The hammer hit the desk with a loud sound. It felt like a fortress falling apart. I stood up. I buttoned my jacket. I did not smile or show any pride. I left the courtroom, breathing slowly like a man who just secured his family's future without being loud.
I hit my hands hard on the cold marble counter at the bank. The teller, a young woman in a cheap blue vest, stared at me with wide eyes. She held my platinum debit card like it might burn her. She typed on her keyboard a few times, but shook her head. "Try it again," I said, my voice loud and echoing in the empty, tall lobby. "I have over $400,000 in my checking account. I'm the vice president of marketing for a global company. Run the card again and give me my money." "Mom, I've already tried 3 times, the teller said, stepping back a little from the counter. "The system is blocking me. There is a hard federal hold on your social security number and all your connected accounts." The screen showed a message. "The freeze started this morning by a federal judge because of a company problem and fraud. You have no money available. I can't even open the cash drawer for you." I took the card from her hand without saying a word. I turned and walked out of the bank. My hands shook so hard I could barely open the glass doors. Jerome did this. He really did. He tried to put all the company debt in my name to save himself, and because of that, the courts froze my personal accounts too. I have only $50 in my purse, not enough to pay for a lawyer, not enough to buy a ticket to leave the state. I drove my Mercedes back to my fancy apartment building. The valet took my keys. I walked through the clean lobby and headed straight for the private elevators. "Ms. Carter, stop!" I turned around. The property manager, Richard, stood near the desk holding a folder. 2 big security guards in black suits were behind him. "I don't have time for you today, Richard," I said sharply. I pressed the elevator button again and again. "I have very important phone calls to make." "You won't be making them from here," Richard said. He moved in front of the elevator doors, blocking the way. "Jerome Jenkins called us 2 hours ago. He ended the lease on your penthouse. Since the lease is only in his company's name and paid from its account, you don't have any rights as a tenant. Your access card is off." I stared at him. My chest felt tight, and it was hard to breathe. "You can't do this," I said, my voice rising. "All my things are inside, my clothes, my jewelry, my shoes. You can't just lock me out on the street." "Mr. Jenkins sent movers an hour ago," Richard said calmly, showing me the folder. "They packed your things into 3 cardboard boxes. They are by the loading dock. Anything bought with company money, furniture, electronics, jewelry, was taken by the movers to be sold. You are officially evicted, Ms. Carter. If you don't leave now, these guards will make you." I looked at the 2 guards. They stared at me, ready to act. I grabbed the folder from Richard's hand and walked out to the back alley. The rain was starting, a cold, miserable drizzle. By a dirty green dumpster, 3 cheap cardboard boxes waited. I ripped open the top box. Inside were my old clothes, the clothes I wore when I was married to Julian. The plain blouses, the bargain jeans, the simple things I wore before I met Jerome. Every piece of designer clothing Jerome bought, proof I was someone, was gone. I sat on the wet ground by the dumpster. The rain soaked through my silk blouse. I pulled out my phone. I had no one left in the business world. Eliza ruined my reputation. Jerome left me alone. I searched my contacts for the only person who had to answer me. I dialed my sister. I stood on Deborah's porch. The rain poured down, drenching my hair and clothes. The front door opened. Deborah stood there in grey sweatpants and a loose shirt. She looked at me. Then she looked past me to the 3 wet boxes I had brought onto the porch. In her eyes, there was no kindness. There was no warmth at all. "Deborah, please let me in," I cried. I wrapped my arms around myself, shaking badly. Jerome locked me out of the apartment. He froze my bank accounts. Julian tricked me. Julian filed some secret lawsuit and ruined my company. Everyone is against me. You have to help me. I am your sister. Deborah didn't move at all. She just stood in the doorway, stopping me from going inside the warm house. "Julian didn't trick you, Donna," Deborah said. Her voice was loud and clear, cutting through the sound of the rain. "Julian didn't make you do things you shouldn't have done for your boss. Julian didn't make you leave your 3 kids behind to live in a fancy apartment. And Julian didn't make you break into his garage and take his work to pretend it was yours." I froze. The cold air felt sharp in my throat. "How do you know about that?" I whispered. Deborah reached into the pocket of her sweatpants. She pulled out her phone and turned the screen so I could see it. It was a live video. The video showed a young kid taking a special metal plate out of a puzzle box. The number at the bottom said 40 million views. "Everyone knows about this, Donna," Deborah shouted. She stepped onto the porch right in front of me. "It has been on every news channel for 6 hours. You are a joke online. You didn't just make a bad choice with a good man. You tried to steal from him. You tried to take the money he earned to care for his kids. Your kids. And now you stand here acting like you don't have anyone to blame. You don't understand how work really is," I yelled back, wiping the cold rain and wet mascara from my eyes. "Jerome forced me. He said he would fire me if I didn't get him a product. He threatened to kick me out. I was under a lot of pressure. I was treated badly at work, Deborah." "Shut your mouth," Deborah shouted. She pointed her finger right at me. "Don't stand here and use sad words to excuse being selfish and cruel. You were not treated badly. You chose to be involved. You looked at a man who cared for you, who worked hard to give you a safe and happy life, and you threw him away because you wanted something better for yourself." I opened my mouth to say something, but Deborah didn't stop. Her words hit me so hard I stepped back toward the stairs. "You think I will let you stay in my house after everything my ex-husband did to me?" Deborah said, her voice full of disgust. "You are just like him. You cheat. You lie. You gave up your own children for money that ended up worthless. Julian came here the night you told me everything. He took his kids and kept them safe from you. He is a better parent than you will ever be. You don't have a sister. You don't have a family. Pack your things and leave my property before I call the police." Deborah stepped back inside her house and reached for the door. "Deborah, please, I have nowhere to go," I shouted, falling to my knees on the wet porch. Deborah looked down at me with empty eyes. "Go ask your rich boyfriend for a blanket," she said. Then she slammed the door shut. The lock clicked loudly. I stayed on the porch in the cold rain. My phone buzzed in my hand. I looked at the cracked screen. It was an email from the county clerk's office. "Donna Carter, you have been formally served. Jerome Jenkins has filed a civil lawsuit against you for company fraud, breaking his duties, and stealing ideas. The courtroom smells like cheap wood polish and old sweat. I am sitting alone at the defense table. I am wearing one of my old cheap blouses because it is the only clean shirt I have. I do not have a lawyer. I asked for a free lawyer, but because this is a big civil case about company debt, they said, no. I have to speak for myself. Jerome sits at the table for the people making the claim. He is wearing a perfect grey suit. He does not look at me. 2 expensive lawyers sit next to him. They whisper in his ear. In the seats behind Jerome, one row back, is Arthur, Julian's lawyer. He is just watching. He has a proud, scary smile. The judge is bald and looks very tired. He looks down at the big pile of papers on his desk. "Mr. Jenkins," he says into the microphone, "you are trying to sue your old vice president of marketing, Ms. Carter, for $50 million. You say she acted alone to cheat your company and got loans by stealing ideas." Jerome's main lawyer stands up right away. He speaks clearly and sharply. "That's right, Your Honor," he says, pointing at me like I am garbage. Ms. Carter used her close personal connection with the CEO to avoid normal checks by the company. She showed the board a real model. She said she owned all parts of its design. She made my client push for fast production to meet a deadline. Jerome Jenkins is a victim of a planned, harmful trick done by a dishonest worker. We want all $50 million to be paid by Ms. Carter alone, so Mr. Jenkins and his other things are free from blame. I stand up quickly. My hands shake. "That is a total lie," I shout across the room. He knew I did not have the engineering papers. He told his workers to copy the design without questions because his company was only 45 days from going broke. He trapped me and used me to save himself. "Objection, Your Honor," Jerome's lawyer says smoothly, rolling his eyes. "The defendant has no papers, no emails, and no witnesses to back up this crazy story." "Actually, Your Honor," she does. Everyone in the room turns. Arthur stands up from the seats behind. He buttons his suit jacket and walks through the wooden gate. He goes toward the judge's desk. "Who are you?" Jerome's lawyer asks, his face red with anger. "I am Arthur Vance," Arthur says with a sharp smile. "I represent Julian Carter, the true owner of the stolen ideas. I am here as a third party, and I want to give the court a flash drive to look at right now." Arthur gives a small silver flash drive to the bailiff, who plugs it into the judge's computer. "What is on that drive, Mr. Vance?" the judge asks, clicking his mouse. Arthur turns and looks straight at Jerome. Jerome turns pale. The drive has more than 400 internal company emails, text messages, and voice recordings given to me by Eliza Sterling, Mr. Jenkins' old PR director. Arthur says loudly so everyone can hear. Ms. Sterling was given protection as a federal whistleblower just yesterday afternoon. In those emails, Your Honor will find clear orders from Jerome Jenkins telling his research team to ignore the fact that the prototype had no proof of origin. You will see messages where Mr. Jenkins admits the design was legally questionable, but still tells them to get huge loans for making it because his company was failing. Arthur moves closer to Jerome's table, standing tall over the former athlete who is sitting down. "Jerome Jenkins is not a victim, Your Honor," Arthur says firmly, giving the final decision. "He is part of the problem. He knew he was breaking rules. He acted carelessly with his company. He tried to sell products that were not right, and now he is trying to blame someone else to save himself." The judge looks at the screen for 2 long minutes. The courtroom is completely quiet. Jerome looks very sick. The judge finally looks up and stares at Jerome with strong anger. "Mr. Jenkins," he says, his voice cold, "this court does not forgive CEOs who try to use the law to hide their own serious mistakes. The evidence from Mr. Vance clearly shows that you knew the product was not normal, but you pushed it through anyway." The judge hits his heavy wooden gavel. "The request to shift blame is denied," the judge says loudly. "Because of the clear fraud shown in these messages, I hold Jerome Jenkins and Donna Carter both responsible for the $50 million in manufacturing debt and for any future damages in Julian Carter's separate case. Both of your personal assets will be used." I order the immediate sale of Mr. Jenkins' company to pay back the creditors. We are done here. Jerome stares at the judge with his mouth open, shocked. In less than 5 minutes, he lost his company, his money, and his freedom. Arthur turns around, looks at me alone at the defense table, and gives a small, mocking nod.
The big warehouse smells of dust and cold concrete. I walk down the main path. On both sides are hundreds of big wooden pallets wrapped tightly in clear plastic. Each pallet is stacked with thousands of small, perfectly printed retail boxes. The Enigma Cube. 500,000 units. My exact design, made perfectly by factories in China, all paid for by Jerome Jenkins's loans. Today is the government bankruptcy auction. I stand at the back of the warehouse. A federal officer stands on a small wooden stage, calling out lot numbers to a small group of bargain buyers and companies that buy liquidated goods. Jerome Jenkins is near the front. He is not wearing an expensive tuxedo today. Instead, he wears a wrinkled, cheap gray suit. He looks 10 years older, tired, defeated, and broken. He watches the officer sell his office computers, glass conference tables, and company vehicles for very little money. Lot number 42, the officer says through a simple loudspeaker. 500,000 units of a mechanical puzzle box. Note, these items are involved in a large federal intellectual property dispute. Buyers cannot legally sell these products on the market without settling this claim with the patent owner. Bidding starts at $100,000 for everything. The crowd is silent. No one bids. No discount store will buy 500,000 toys they aren't allowed to sell. 100,000? The auctioneer asks again. Any more bids? I slowly lift my numbered paddle. 100,000 from the man in the back, the auctioneer says fast. Do I hear 110? Going once, going twice. Sold to bidder 7 for $100,000. Jerome turns quickly. He looks toward the back of the warehouse. He sees me holding the paddle. I just bought 500,000 of my own products for about 20 cents each. I used a small part of the big licensing payment I got yesterday from a well-known toy company. It's like I got $50 million worth of free products because of Jerome Jenkins's mistake. Jerome pushes through the crowd. He walks toward me. His fists are tight, but his shoulders are down. He stops a few feet away. You planned this, Jerome says in a low, broken voice. You let me take the loans. You let me pay for the factories. You let me do all the hard work, and then you bought everything from my bankruptcy. I didn't let you do anything, Jerome, I say, my voice flat and calm. I don't raise my voice or show anger. You chose to steal from a man you didn't know. You ignored your own legal team because you were too proud and desperate. You did the hard work because you are foolish and greedy. You ruined my life, Jerome says, his eyes red with anger. I lost my company. I lost my good name. I have $50 million in debt now. You ruined your own life, I say, looking straight at him, hard and clear. You thought you could enter my life, take my wife, steal my work, and walk away fine because you looked better and were taller. You thought you were a shark in business. You're not a shark, Jerome. You're a fish flopping on the ground, and I'm the man stepping past you. Jerome steps closer and raises his fist. I should hit you right here. I don't move. I look at his fist, then back to his face. Do it, I say quietly and calmly. Hit me in front of all these people. Go to prison for 10 years for attacking me on top of all your other crimes. Throw your entire life away just so you can feel strong for a moment. Jerome looks at me. His fist shakes in the air. He sees I am not afraid. He knows he has no power over me. Slowly, he lowers his hand and looks at his cheap shoes. That's what I thought, I say. I turn and walk out of the warehouse, leaving Jerome standing alone in the place he destroyed. The boardroom at Apex Toys has dark wood walls and big windows showing the Chicago skyline. I sit at the long, shiny table. Arthur sits next to me, calm and ready. Across from us are 4 top leaders. They wear sharp suits and smile with interest. In the middle of the table is my original toy design, next to one of the boxes I bought at the auction. Julian, the online data for this product is unbelievable, the Apex CEO says, tapping his pen on his notebook. The live stream event made the puzzle very famous. People did not just want to solve it. They wanted to be part of internet history. We have the global networks to put this box on every big store shelf in the world within a month. I know the numbers, I say quietly. Great. The CEO smiles and leans forward. We are ready to offer you a large amount of money up front. We will buy the patent, the rights, and the current stock for $20 million. You would become very rich today, and we would take over the brand. Arthur looks at me. He knows what I will say next. No, I say firmly. The executives look worried. The smiles fade. Julian, 20 million is twice the usual price for a popular toy, the CEO says, trying to calm things. Why not sell it? I am not selling the patent, and I will not take one lump sum, I say. I lean forward and put my arms on the table, taking control. You will get the rights to make and sell the product from me. I will keep full ownership of the patent forever. Also, I want 20% of the total sales money from every box sold worldwide. 20%? The CFO gasps, shaking his head. That is too much. It would hurt our profits. No company will agree. You will agree, I say calmly. I explain my plan clearly, leaving no room for changes. Because I have all the power here. I have 500,000 finished boxes in a warehouse in Raleigh ready to ship. I do not need your factories. I could hire a company tomorrow, sell only on Amazon, and keep all the profits. But I offer you the rights because I want to spend my time making new puzzles, not handling shipping. I tap the table and look the CEO in the eyes. Here is my last rule, I say. Half of that money, 10% of the total sales, will not go to me. It will go directly into a trust fund for Devin Carter, Kathy Carter, and Karen Carter, my children. Mr. Vance will manage the fund, and no one, not even me, can touch or change it. You will make sure my children have money for their future, and in return, I will give you the most successful puzzle brand for the next 20 years. The CEO looks at me, then at the puzzle box on the table, then at the sales numbers on the screen. He knows I am serious. I could pack up and leave right now. 20%, the CEO says quietly, rubbing his chin. And 10 goes to the kids. Those are the terms, I say. Take it, or I leave. The CEO looks at the CFO. The CFO quickly checks the numbers on his tablet, frowns, then nods slowly. We have a deal, Julian, the CEO says, reaching out his hand. I shake it. I don't smile, just nod. I leave the room a multi-millionaire. My children's future is safe because of the very product their mother once tried to take from me.
6 months later, the bright white lights in the cheap hardware store buzz all the time. The sound gives me a constant headache. I stand behind register number 4. I wear a worn red vest over a faded black shirt. My hair is tied back in a messy ponytail. I don't wear makeup anymore. I just can't pay for it. Every paycheck I get is taken by the courts to pay off the big debts I owe. I live in a small studio apartment above a loud laundromat. I take the bus to work. I eat cheap, instant noodles for dinner. A middle-aged man comes to my register. He puts a heavy hammer, a box of nails, and a small, bright box on the scanner belt. I pick up the hammer and scan it. Beep! Then the nails. Beep! I reach for the box. I grab it, but freeze completely. I can't breathe. On the box, written in shiny gold letters, is the name, Julian's Labyrinth, the global phenomenon. In the corner is a small logo that says Apex Toys. My nephew talks about that thing all the time, the man says, pulling out a wrinkled $20 bill. Some guy made it in his garage, and it went viral online. It's always sold out. Lucky you had one left in the case. My hands shake so hard I drop the box on the glass scanner. Beep. Are you okay, miss? The man asks, looking at my pale face. I look at the box. I am scanning the thing that ruined my life. I am selling the product that made my ex-husband rich, and I make only $9 an hour. The painful truth hits me hard like a heavy weight on my chest. I'm fine, I whisper. My voice breaks. Tears fall down my cheeks. I give the man his receipt. He takes his bag and leaves quickly, clearly uncomfortable with the crying cashier. I stand behind the register and break down. I cry hard, hiding my face in my hands. I lost a beautiful home. I lost a good man who really loved me. I lost my children for a thing that made my ex rich but left me behind. I am nothing. I wipe my face with the rough sleeve of my red vest. I look up at the plastic clock on the wall. It's time for lunch. I make a choice. I have to see my kids. I have to say sorry to Julian. I know he's a good man. I know he can forgive. If I cry, if I show him how broken I am, maybe he'll feel sorry for me. He has to. I clock out. I leave the hardware store and start walking 3 miles toward the rich neighborhood.
I drive my new black SUV down the long paved road to my new house. The house is huge and beautiful, sitting on 2 acres of green grass. A tall black iron fence goes all around it. I press the button to close the heavy metal gate behind me. As the gate slides shut, a figure steps out of the bushes and blocks the way. I stop the car and put it in park. It's Donna. She looks awful. She wears a cheap red vest and a faded polo shirt. Her hair is messy. She's soaked from the light rain falling from the gray sky. I get out of the car but leave the engine on. I don't walk toward her. I stand next to the driver's door, watching her without emotion. Donna runs to the front of my car. She falls to her knees on the wet pavement. She clasps her hands together, crying loudly, throwing her head back in a dramatic show of pain. "Julian, please!" she cries out, her voice loud and shaky in the quiet driveway. "Please, look at me! I'm so sorry! I'm so sorry for everything I did to you. I was blind." I was tricked by Jerome. I was confused and lost my way. "Julian, I lost everything. I lost my job, my home, even my sister. But the worst part is that I lost you and the kids." She slowly crawls on the wet ground, reaching her hand toward my shoes. "Please, Julian, I'm begging you," she says, burying her face in her dirty hands. "Just let me see them. Let me see Devin. Let me hug the twins. I am their mother. You can't keep me away forever. I've changed. I'm broken. I need my family back." I look down at her. I don't feel angry. I don't feel sorry. I feel nothing. She is a stranger acting out a sorry story on my driveway. "You didn't come here because you miss the kids, Donna," I say in a very calm voice, cutting through her crying as if it were nothing. "You didn't come because you suddenly want to be a good mom. You came because you ran out of money. You came because your wages are being taken, your credit is ruined, and you are stuck working a simple job just to get by." Donna stops crying for a moment. Her eyes look scared because her emotional act is failing. "No, that's not true," she shouts, standing up unsteady. "I'm their mother. I gave birth to them. You have lots of money now, Julian. You have a big house. You don't have to punish me anymore. You won. Just let me back in their lives. I have the right to see them. You can't keep me away from my own children." "You have no rights," I say flatly. "I am their mother," she shouts again, stepping closer to me with a desperate look on her face. "I will go back to court. I will tell the judge you won't let me be with my children. You can't stop me." I don't argue or yell. I reach inside my jacket. I pull out my phone. I unlock it. I open a special document. I turn the screen around and hold it in front of Donna's face. "Read this," I say. Donna squints at the bright screen. It is a scanned copy of a post-nuptial mediation agreement. I zoom in so she can see the last page clearly. "Look at the signature, Donna," I say, my voice low and strong. "Look at the black ink below the part where you chose to give up your rights to Devin, Kathy, and Karen. You signed away your rights to your kids so you could keep the marital property. But the courts took those things right away to pay off the big debt from the fraud you made with your boyfriend." Donna stares at the screen. Her lips shake. I didn't know what I was signing. My lawyer didn't explain it." "Your lawyer warned you in court," I say, my words crushing the last hope in her. "He begged you not to sign, but you were too busy texting Jerome about your big plans to care. You traded your children for a fake promise of money. You gave them away, and the court made it final." I put my phone away. I look at her with cold disgust. "You are legally a stranger to my children," I say. "You have no right to visit them. You have no parental rights. You can't ask the court for anything because you gave up your connection. You mean nothing to them." "Julian, please," Donna says quietly, stepping back. Her whole body shakes. "If you come onto my property again," I say, pointing at her chest, "I won't just call my lawyer. I will call the police. I will have you taken away for criminal trespassing, and I will press the highest charges. You're going to a concrete cell. Do you understand?" Donna looks into my eyes. She finally sees that the man in front of her is not the quiet, obedient husband she controlled for 6 years. I am strong and closed off, like a fortress, and she is shut out for good. Donna's knees give way. She falls onto the cold, wet sidewalk just outside the gate. She puts her face to the hard ground and starts to cry loudly. I don't offer her help. I don't hand her a tissue. I step back into my SUV. I close the heavy door behind me. I press the button on my visor. The big iron gate slides shut with a loud clang, locking us apart, my quiet world on one side, her broken world on the other. I put the car in drive and head to my house, leaving her crying on the street.
The cheap motel room smells stale, filled with mold and old smoke. I sit on the edge of a stained mattress, wearing the same wrinkled pants I've had on for 3 days. My bank accounts are frozen. My credit cards have been declined everywhere. My once successful marketing firm is gone, sold off in a shameful government auction to the very person who planned my downfall. I hold a bottle of cheap whiskey and take a drink, feeling the burn down my throat. Suddenly, there's a loud knock at the door. "Who is it?" I shout, throwing the empty bottle into the trash. "Federal agents, Mr. Jenkins. Open up now." My heart stops. My legs shake so much I almost fall. I stand and slowly unlock the door chain. I open the door. 3 men stand in the dull hallway. They wear dark suits and jackets with IRS on the back. "Jerome Jenkins?" the lead man asks as he steps inside without waiting. "Yes, that's me," I say, raising my hands as if to show I'm not a threat. "If this is about the company's bankruptcy, the judge already sold the firm's assets. Creditors will get paid," I add quickly. "This is not about the bankruptcy," the agent says, pulling a thick folder from his briefcase. "This is about a second audit on your company's sales before your accounts were frozen. Before the federal hold, your firm took in nearly $4 million from online pre-orders worldwide." "I don't handle the money," I lie, stepping back toward the bed. "My CFO took care of that. I only managed marketing." "Don't act like I'm stupid, Jerome," the agent sharpens his voice, moving closer. "We traced the money's path. That $4 million wasn't put into the company's working account. It was sent straight into a group of offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands. All in your name." I look at him, blood draining from my face. The agent keeps reading. "From those offshore accounts, $2.5 million went to a high-stakes gambling group in Macau to cover your personal debts. You took the pre-order money for yourself, Jerome. You committed serious crimes involving money and taxes." "You can't prove I ordered those transfers," I shout, panic taking over. "Donna Carter had access. She moved the money to make me look guilty. She's the criminal. Ask Eliza Sterling, my PR director. She'll say Donna was managing the accounts," I say, desperate. The agent smiles, a cold, frightening smile. "Eliza Sterling told us," he says quietly. "She gave the IP logs showing the transfers came from your own laptop in the penthouse. She got federal immunity by giving us all the proof on a silver plate. Eliza, that cold, cruel woman, she didn't just send the emails to Julian's lawyer. She went straight to the authorities to make sure I would never get out of this mess." "Turn around and put your hands behind your back, Mr. Jenkins," said the agent, pulling out a pair of heavy handcuffs from his belt. The interrogation room was cold and made of plain concrete. I sat at a metal table, my hands cuffed to a steel ring fixed to the surface. I had been there for 6 hours. I refused to talk without my lawyer, but all my expensive lawyers left me when my firm's accounts were frozen. I had no one. The heavy metal door opened. It wasn't an agent. It was Veronica. Veronica was my fiancée. She was the only heir to a huge billion-dollar real estate trust. She wore a clean white Chanel suit. She looked completely out of place in this grim, lonely room. A federal agent stood by the door, clearly having been paid off to let her in. "Veronica? Thank God," I gasped, leaning forward as far as the cuffs would let me. "You have to get me out of here. My accounts are frozen. Julian Carter and that woman Donna set me up. They made it look like I stole money. Just pay the bail and get me my lawyers. I'll fix this. We can still get married in the spring." Veronica didn't come closer. She stood on the other side of the table. She looked at me like I was dirt stuck to her shoe. "You really are a sad, stupid man, Jerome," Veronica said. Her voice was calm and cold. "Veronica, what are you saying? I love you," I begged. "You love my father's money," Veronica said. Then she went on and took away the last hope I had left. "I watched the live stream, Jerome. I saw the metal plate. I had my family's private detectives look at the bankruptcy papers this morning. I know exactly what you did. You used your receptionist, took her husband's work without permission, and tricked everyone to make your failing company seem worth more, so my father would agree to our marriage." "That's not true," I yelled, banging the cuffs against the table. I was trying to build something for us. You're just a broke old man living off others, Veronica replied without paying attention to my shouting. You wasted 5 years on the bench in the NFL. The last 10 years, you pretended to be a CEO. You took millions to cover your gambling losses in Macau. You thought I wouldn't find out. You believed you could marry into my family and use my inheritance to fix your piles of debt. Veronica put her hand inside her designer bag. She pulled out a thick legal envelope and dropped it on the table in front of my cuffed hands. What's this? I whispered, looking at it. That's a lawsuit, she said, her eyes cold and harsh. My family is suing you for cheating our trust. We're going after the $500,000 you borrowed from me last year to save your failing company. We will bury you in so many lawsuits you won't even afford a lawyer for your criminal case. You can't do this to me, I shouted, pulling hard at the cuffs until my wrists hurt and bled. I'm Jerome Jenkins. I won a Super Bowl. I'm somebody. You're nobody, Veronica said softly. She turned and walked toward the door. Veronica! Come back here, I shout, tears of fear rolling down my face. Don't leave me in here, please. She doesn't look back. The federal agent opens the door for her, and she walks out into the hallway. The heavy metal door shuts behind her with a loud click, locking from the outside. I am left all alone in the cold, empty room, shouting into the silence.
The therapist's office has plain white walls, 2 leather couches, and a low-glass table. The diplomas on the wall don't interest me. What matters is the woman sitting across from me and the 3 children beside me. Dr. Evans looks down at her clipboard. She is sharp and watches carefully. She is in her late 50s. First, she glances at Devin, who is quietly putting magnetic blocks together. Then she looks at Kathy and Karen, who are sharing a tablet and pointing at a drawing. Finally, she looks right at me. Julian, I need to be honest, Dr. Evans says, setting her pen on the table. In cases with a tough divorce, a mother suddenly leaving, and a public legal fight, I often see deep hurt in the kids. I often see them going back to younger behaviors like bedwetting, strong fear of being away from parents, or trouble acting out at school. I've been watching your children for 6 weeks. I don't see any of that. They seem calm. They feel safe. This is not what I usually expect. I don't lie to them, I answer simply, resting my hands on my knees. Dr. Evans leans in a little. Tell me more. Many parents say they don't lie, but they hide the truth or use it against the other parent. How do you explain their mother's absence every day? I look at Kathy as she draws on her screen. I tell them their mother made a choice, I say, my voice calm and without anger. I give them honest, clear answers that are right for their age. I tell them she decided she wanted a different life, and it has nothing to do with their worth. I don't say bad things about her when they are around. I don't complain about what she did or call her names. I don't try to turn them against her. I let her not being here say everything. Kids are very smart. They know love by who is there. Donna is not here, so Donna doesn't matter. That's why they feel steady inside, Dr. Evans says, respecting me. You took away the fight. When a parent pushes a child to hate the other parent, it creates a big tear inside the child's mind. The child then has to defend the missing parent to feel okay. You didn't do that. You became a safe place for them. You let Donna disappear in their minds by never being around. You took away her power by not making her the bad one in their lives. She's not the bad one, I say clearly. She is a ghost. She gave up her role as their parent. She's lost everything. She doesn't matter to our future. If I spent time hating her, it would mean she still mattered. She doesn't. Devin looks up from his blocks. He reaches for my hand. Daddy, he says quietly but sure. Yes, buddy? I ask, looking down at him. Since we don't have to worry about Mommy coming to the garage anymore, Devin says, his eyes bright with curious hope. Can we build a new puzzle together? A bigger one? I smile. This is the first true, free smile I've felt inside my chest in over a year. Absolutely, Devin, I say to him. We're going to build the biggest puzzle the world has ever seen. We'll build it together, and nobody will ever take it from us. The university lecture hall is full. 500 engineering and business students sit in the rows, looking down at the stage. I stand behind a wooden podium wearing a sharp black suit. I have no notes. I don't need them. The biggest mistake every corporate engineer makes is trying to be perfectly correct all the time, I tell the large crowd. My voice is clear and loud through the microphone, bouncing off the high ceiling. In school, you're told that machines must work in perfect, clear ways. You're taught that 1 + 1 always equals 2. But people don't work that way. People can be selfish and proud. They tend to think they are the smartest person in the room, especially when wearing a fancy suit. I move away from the podium and walk slowly across the wooden stage. I look at the bright, eager faces of the students. When I designed the Labyrinth Core, I didn't design it so a computer could solve it, I continue with strong belief. I designed it to challenge human pride. I used a small flaw, a chipped tooth on a key brass gear, and made it the most important part of the lock. The logical move is to push the gear forward. Pride makes you push it harder when it won't move. You think the machine is wrong, and you're right. But true skill means you look closely at the broken part, understand it, and do the opposite of what a proud person would do. You push it backward. The room falls completely quiet. Every student listens to me carefully. Protecting your ideas is not just about filing papers with the government, I say, stopping in the middle of the stage. It means using your mind to fight against those who think they have a right to take your hard work without giving anything back. The business world is full of people who do nothing, who build nothing, and live by taking the work of quiet people working hard in small garages. Protect your work, file your patents, and when others try to take what is yours, don't scream or give up. Let them take a trap, and let it stop them on their own. I step back from the stage's edge. Suddenly, the hall bursts into applause. 500 students stand at once. The clapping is loud and long. It is a big, rising display of respect and excitement. I look at the crowd. I am no longer Julian, the injured stay-at-home dad. I am Julian Carter, the leader who sees the future. As the hall slowly empties, a man in his late 30s comes to the stage. He carries a smooth digital camera and a thick leather notebook. Julian, the man says, reaching his hand out. My name is Marcus. I'm a documentary filmmaker. I make high-quality films for big streaming companies. I have followed your story since the live stream with the Enigma Cube. I shake his hand firmly. What do you want, Marcus? I want to tell the real story, Marcus says, his eyes serious. The world saw the big bankruptcy of Jerome Jenkins. They saw the story about the toy that went viral, but no one told the story of the man in the garage. No one told the story of the father who built an international business from wood and brass to protect his children from a harsh corporate world. Let me put cameras in your workshop. Let me show the world the real genius. I look at Marcus. I think about my children. I think about what I leave behind. You can bring your cameras into my workshop, Marcus, I say quietly. But only if we follow my rules. This won't be a silly story about a cheating wife. We will not give her any attention. We will make this about skills, patience, and fairness. You have a deal. Marcus smiles.
The break room at the discount hardware store is a dull yellow box. It smells like bleach, cheap floor cleaner, and burnt popcorn. I sit alone at the sticky plastic table. I wear my ugly red store vest over a faded black shirt. I take my phone out of my pocket. The screen is cracked right across the middle. I can't afford the $70 it costs to fix it. I open the streaming app. Right there on the big front page banner is his face. The Master of Gears, the true story of the Labyrinth Core. My hands shake as I press play. I expect to see my face. I expect a terrible story that will make me look bad. I get ready to hear Julian say awful things about me on a big screen. I want him to talk about me. Even if he hates me, I need him to show the world I mattered to him once. I need to know I was important. The documentary begins. It shows Julian in his beautiful new workshop. It shows him laughing with Devon, sanding pieces of dark wood. It shows Arthur sitting in a tall office, coldly explaining the law about the silent provisional patent. It shows blurry news clips of Jerome going into federal court. I sit in the break room watching for an hour and 45 minutes. My chest feels tight. I feel a growing panic in my throat that has nothing to do with being insulted. It is about being completely forgotten. Julian never says my name. Not one time. Arthur never says my name. Even the voice telling the story does not say my name. When they talk about the stolen prototype from the garage, the voice says only, "A former company worker got the prototype and sent it to Jerome Jenkins' marketing firm without permission." That's all. A former company worker. I stare at the cracked phone screen. Tears fall down my face. I realize something painful. Julian did not make this video to hurt me. He made it to show the whole world that I mean nothing. I am just a small unnamed problem he got rid of on his path to success. He does not hate me. Hate means feeling something. He just doesn't care about me at all. I am less than a memory. "Hey, Donna! Break time is over," my boss yells. He puts his bald head into the break room. "Go back to Register 4 now. There's a big line by the lumber aisle." "I'm coming," I whisper. I wipe my face hard with the rough sleeve of my uniform. I close my phone. I feel invisible. Later, I sit on the old stained mattress in my tiny studio apartment. The loud hum from the laundromat machines downstairs shakes the floor and rattles my teeth. I hold a blue pen and a sheet of lined paper. I will write a letter. I have to write a letter to my kids. If I can reach them, if I can make them read my words and see that I got caught in bad situations, maybe they will ask Julian to let me back in their lives. He won't refuse if they ask. I press the pen to the paper. I start to write. "My dear Devin, Kathy, and Karen, I know you must be very confused about why Mommy is not there with you in the new house. I want you to know I love you more than anything in the world. I was tricked by some very bad and powerful people in the business world. I made a mistake, but I only did it because I wanted to earn a lot of money to buy you nice things and give you a better life. Your father is very upset with me. He is keeping me away from you as a way to punish me for trying to succeed. But I am your mother. We share a special bond that no one can break, not even a judge. Please ask your father to let me call you. I am hurting so much without you." I fold the paper quickly and put it into a plain white envelope. I don't know Julian's new address because it is hidden for privacy, so I write the address of Arthur Vance's law office on the front. He has to give any letters to his client. I walk outside and drop the envelope in the blue mailbox on the corner. For 3 days, I feel a small spark of hope in my chest. On the 4th day, I check my rusty metal mailbox outside my apartment. Inside is a thick official envelope. The return address says Arthur Vance. My heart jumps in my chest. I open it quickly while standing on the dirty sidewalk near the busy street. Inside, I find my exact letter, still sealed and unread. Attached to the front of my letter is a single page of official legal paper with Arthur Vance's name on it. I read the typed message. "Donna Carter, any further attempts to contact Julian Carter or his 3 children will be seen as harassment. You gave up all your rights as a parent in federal court. You have no legal or moral right to reach out to them. Julian did not open your letter. He gave it to me and told me to handle it however I please. Do not contact this office again, or I will file a restraining order that will keep you far away from the city. Arthur Vance, Eskimon." I stare at the heavy paper. Julian didn't even open my letter. He didn't care to see what I wrote. He just saw my handwriting and passed it to his lawyer. I walk over to the overflowing green trash bin on the street corner. I look at my unopened letter and the cold legal note. I drop both into the trash on top of a half-eaten sandwich and an empty can. I finally understand. I lost. I am defeated.
The old warehouse on the edge of the industrial area is huge. It is 50,000 square feet of empty concrete floors, tall steel beams, and rough brick walls. I walk through the middle of the large open space. Arthur walks right beside me. He is wearing his usual clean and sharp 3-piece suit, which looks strange in the dusty, messy building. The real estate agent accepted your cash offer this morning, Julian, Arthur says. He looks around, then checks his phone. You now own the whole building. But I have to ask, what exactly are you going to do with all this empty space? Apex Toys handles your factories worldwide. You don't need another factory. This is a big space that will cost you money. It's not a factory, Arthur, I say. I stop in the middle of the room and point to the far left wall. Over there, I am building my private mechanical engineering studio. It will have glass walls from floor to ceiling, the newest lathes, 3D printers, and CNC machines. That is where I will design products for the next 10 years. It will be my special place. I turn and point to the huge, empty space that makes up most of the building. And the rest of this? I say, my voice echoing under the high steel beams. This will be the Carter Community Workshop. I plan to fill this whole floor with strong wooden workbenches, power tools, drafting tables, and computers. I want every kid in this city who wants to learn to build things with their hands to come here. I will hire retired engineers to teach them about mechanics, physics, and coding for free. Arthur looks at me, a bit surprised. He puts his phone away. You are making a community center? Julian, the insurance alone for a place this big with power tools and kids will be a huge legal problem. I don't care about insurance costs, Arthur, I say, looking him straight in the eye. I earned $30 million in royalties this year. My kids' trust fund is overflowing. I'm not going to stash it away in an offshore account like some people. I want to build an unshakable empire of goodwill. I want my children to grow up in a place full of creativity, loyalty, and learning, not selfishness and greed. Arthur smiles quietly and shakes his head. You really are different, Julian. You fight hard in court, you win, then you turn their money into schools for kids. It's strangely beautiful. Speaking of that, I say, turning fully toward him, I need someone to manage this empire, someone to handle the Apex Toys contracts, international patents, and the tricky legal side of this community center. I want you to quit your law firm and work for me as my chief operating officer. Arthur raises one eyebrow and crosses his arms. I'm a very expensive, successful partner at my firm, Julian. I bill $800 an hour. I'm very rich, Arthur, I say simply. You are the only one in this city tough enough to protect my interests and smart enough to handle the growth I'm planning. Name your current salary. We'll double it right away. You start Monday morning. Arthur looks around the huge, dusty warehouse. He looks at the old brick walls. He buttons his suit jacket. I'll have my office packed by Friday, Arthur says. Good, I say. Let's get to work. We have a big opening to plan, and I want it to be amazing. The Carter Community Workshop is filled with people. The warehouse has been changed perfectly. The brick walls are clean and bright. Warm, bright lights hang from the heavy steel beams above. Rows of strong wooden workbenches are set up, covered with tools, brass gears, and large blueprints. Hundreds of kids, parents, and local leaders walk through, amazed at the place. I stand near the front door, dressed in a neat navy suit. Devin holds my right hand firmly. Kathy and Karen stand on my left, watching the crowd with wide eyes. Julian, this place is truly amazing, a familiar voice says. I turn around. Helen and Francis are walking toward me. Helen wears a sharp gray suit with a clean white shirt and a dark purple tie. Francis wears a lovely floral dress. They both look very proud. I pull Helen into a strong hug. I'm happy you came. It wouldn't feel right without you. Are you joking? We wouldn't miss this for anything, Helen says. She steps back and looks around the huge building, shaking her head like she can't believe it. When you told me about the problems with Donna a year ago, I worried you would let her drag you down. I was afraid you would lose your mind fighting her. But I never thought you would fight so well and build this amazing place with what you gained. You really beat her, Julian, Francis adds quietly, clearly satisfied. I saw the news about Jerome going to federal prison for fraud and Donna being hit with that huge court loss. It's like justice coming around. I didn't beat her, I say simply, looking out at the big crowd of kids working on projects. She did that to herself. I just gave her the chance, and she took it. Now I don't even think about her. This building, this life, these children, that is all that matters now. Mr. Carter! Mr. Carter! A young reporter pushes through the crowd. She holds a microphone with a local news logo on it, and a cameraman follows, carrying his camera. Julian Carter, congratulations on opening this amazing place, the reporter says, holding the microphone out to me. The Enigma Cube is the best-selling puzzle of the decade. You changed the whole industry overnight. Can you tell us what inspired this big community center? I look down at my children, then at Devin's bright eyes. Follow me, I say. I walk over to a large brick wall near the entrance. A heavy bronze plaque is attached to the bricks. "Read this," I tell her. The reporter leans closer and reads for the camera. "The Carter Community Workshop, dedicated to Devin, Kathy, and Karen. Never let anyone tell you that your mind isn't a weapon." "I built this for them," I say, looking straight at the camera. "I built this so they would know real strength doesn't come from stealing or lying or putting your name on something you didn't earn. Real power comes from sitting at a rough workbench, using your brain, and making something real." "That's an amazing message, Julian," the reporter says, her eyes wide with excitement. "Everyone wants to know, after the huge success of the Labyrinth core puzzle, what is your next big idea? What are you working on now?" I look at the reporter, then at the red light flashing on the camera. I think about the past year. I think about the night Donna was in my kitchen, dressed in her fancy clothes, acting like she owned the place and asking me to accept her actions. I remember how sure she was when she said she would bring someone else into my life. I recall sliding a black suitcase across the floor and closing the door on that part of my life for good. I turn back to the reporter and give my final public words. "Do you want to know what the greatest puzzle in the world is?" I ask. My voice is calm and confident. "It's not made of polished wood or shiny metal. It's not a box you sell for money on the internet." The reporter is quiet. The cameraman zooms in on my face. They listen to every word I say. "The hardest thing in life is figuring out how to build a peaceful, steady life from pieces that feel broken," I say, my voice rising above the noise of the crowd. "When someone betrays you deeply, when they invade your safe place and try to steal your future for their own pride, the challenge is learning how to take away their power over you without losing yourself. The challenge is turning your worst moment into a strong tool for justice, then putting that tool down so you can raise your children in peace." I look at Devin, Kathy, and Karen. They stare at me with pure love. "I don't need to create another puzzle that goes viral," I tell the reporter as I step away from the microphone, "because my greatest partners and I have already solved the most important one." That's a deep thought, Mr. Carter," the reporter says, lowering her microphone, clearly moved by my honesty. "Thank you for your time." "You're welcome," I reply. I don't wait for more questions. I do not care about what the media will say next. I turn away from the cameras, the reporters, and the noise. I take Devin's hand in my right hand and Kathy's in my left. Karen walks closely beside us. "Come on, everyone," I say to my children as I lead them through the workshop. "Let's get some dinner. I'm really hungry." The house is completely quiet. It's midnight. Rain lightly taps the big glass windows of my strong, protected home. Devin, Kathy, and Karen are fast asleep in their large bedrooms upstairs. They are safe. They are deeply loved. I walk out the back door and step into my private garage workshop. It's much smaller than the big community center downtown, but it's my own quiet place. It smells just like the old one. The rich smell of cedar wood, the sharp scent of brass polish, and the dry dust of graphite. I sit at my heavy wooden workbench. I reach for a block of soft pine wood and a sharp carving knife. I am not trying to make something famous or a clever trap. I am simply carving a small, lovely wooden horse for Kathy. I pause and look up at the top shelf above my workbench. There, lit by a soft, warm light, is the original model, the Labyrinth core. Arthur managed to get it legally returned to me after the bankruptcy was finished and Jerome was sent away. I stare at the beautiful walnut and brass cube. I see the main gear inside the mechanism. I know exactly where the tiny chip is. It used to be a sign of extreme betrayal. It was the stolen thing that almost broke me. But now, in the quiet peace of my safe life, it doesn't stand for Donna anymore. It is a symbol of my strength. It is the proof of the moment I refused to be a victim. I succeeded by holding on to my values. I won by using my mind. I played the game fairly and perfectly against people who thought they could cheat and get away with it. I put down the carving knife on the rubber mat. I stand up and walk to the wall switch. I look around the garage one last time. I have everything I could ever need. I turn off the workshop light and close the heavy door. The screen fades to black on a man who lost a difficult past but found a new world full of hope. Thank you for watching, and if you want to see more stories where true justice is found, please subscribe to the Infidelity Director channel. What did you think about Donna's final punishment and Julian's careful plan for revenge? Did they both get what was right? Always remember, the best way to handle people who hurt you is not with anger or harsh words. Instead, focus on building a strong, successful life that they can never join or take away from you.